Welcome back. We've now implemented our Circle CI server. That wasn't too bad, was it? Just a simple Circle YAML file that we configured, and now we have everything running. And we run our tests, we do some linting. If we want, we can also do some TypeScript checking. Everything is working nicely. So that now, every time a PR is ready to be reviewed, Circle CI passes everything so that the code reviews can happen, and then we can merge our changes. No code review is really necessary until all the Circle CI tests pass. And we can be really elaborate with these tests to test all kind of things. Now, I want to add one more thing to our understanding of continuous integration. And that is something called a pre-commit hook. What if we can run some tasks before we even commit to GitHub up here? And we're going to use Prettier to demonstrate this. Let's get started. Prettier is a great new tool that, well, as the name suggests, makes your code prettier. It's a code formatter. You grab a piece of code, you put it through Prettier, and Prettier formats it, indents it, makes it look pretty, whatever it needs to happen to make it more readable. Now, why do we need this? Again, because we have so many developers working on a project, wouldn't it be nice if there was a standard format that everybody followed? Instead of having strict guidelines, we can all code along the way we want it and then put it through Prettier before we even push it up to GitHub so that Prettier makes it, well, prettier. And you can see over here that it works with a ton of tools, including other languages like Java, PHP, works with Flow, TypeScript, JSX, which is what we use in React, a ton of tools. And they have a lot of plugins. It's really, really good and highly recommended that you use it. I've worked at companies that have used this, and the formatting of code on those projects are significantly better. So I'm going to show you how to quickly implement this. But if you want to read more, you can click their guide, and they have some really, really good information of what you can do. All right. So let's go back to our app. And in here, I've actually created a new component called Counter Button 2. And Counter Button 2 is a new component that I simply copied from our previous counter button, which we had right over here. And I've actually just made the format a little bit weird. I have all this spacing issues, and it's pretty ugly. And I want to take that through Prettier so that by the time it arrives on GitHub, it's prettier. Let's give it a go. I'm going to go back to the website just to show you that, yeah, we do have the two counter buttons. They work. There's no errors. So I'm going to close this and install a few packages in order to have Prettier work. Now, if you go to their install, now we can install it regularly and maybe have a CLI command that runs everything, but we want to do a pre-commit hook. Before a commit happens, we want to run it through the Prettier. And we have a couple options here. I like the pretty quick option, and you can see over here that we can just use the pretty quick husky --dev. And I'm going to use npm instead of yarn. So I'm going to type npm install and then run pretty quick husky --dev. Now, while that's downloading, let's go back, and we see that all we need to do is in our config file, in our package.json, add in the scripts the pre-commit pretty quick -- staged. So let's go back. If you can believe it, yeah, it's that simple. We add to our scripts over here another line, and we'll just say pre-commit. Now, pre-commit here will automatically be detected and run every time we make a commit. And it's going to run the pretty quick command with the -- staged option. Now, the other thing that we need to do is we actually need to make sure that we have Prettier installed. So again, we go back and we can add npm install, or we'll just do save exact Prettier as well. All right, so we have Prettier installed, and I forgot to save this while we added the new script. So let's do that again. I'm going to go back to the pre-commit hook, make sure that we have the pre-commit command, add it onto here. Let's save. And I'm going to, let's say, get status, make sure that we have those changes. I'm going to create a new branch just for testing purposes. I'm going to call it prettier. And in here, I'm going to get add, get commit. I'm going to commit with saying pretty please. And look at that. A pre-commit hook just happened. You can see that it's now running the pre-commit, and it's finding changes, found 4 changes that I needed fixing, and fixes up some indentation, including header.js and button2.js. Now, this prettier tool only runs on the files that we've actually changed. So it won't actually change any of our pre-existing files, which is most likely what we want to do. It's a nice tool to have from the very beginning of the project to make sure everything is consistent. Now, if we actually go to counter button 2, we see that, whoa, look at that. All our indentation is fixed. That's what we had before, if I go back, and this is what we have now. Everything is nice and clean and smooth. How cool is that? All right, so we've just added prettier extremely easily, and now I can just run git push origin prettier, and we'll have a new PR or a pull request. Go back to our GitHub repo, click on compare pull requests. We see that, oh yeah, look, everything is nice and clean with counter button 2. And now if I do create pull request, we have our CI tests running. How cool is that? We've just implemented continuous integration. And I bet your imaginations are running wild. We've only done testing, a bit of linting, we've added prettier, and we've built our project on Circle CI. But there's so many things that we can do. Completely up to you and completely up to your project. Anything that you can do programmatically, you can check with Circle CI. For example, something like a Webpack bundle analyzer, which analyzes your bundles, can be used as something called artifacts in Circle CI. And artifacts are data that we add or persist in our workflow. So when our Circle CI runs and it's done, you can have a file that outputs this image and stores it somewhere on the server. And now this file is available as an artifact long after the job succeeds on Circle CI, so you can go back and check that your builds have the proper amount. You can also add tests to Circle CI to make sure you have certain coverages on your tests. Or you can even check or limit how big your JavaScript files are. If you want to limit your JavaScript files to 100 megabytes, you can run those tests. And anytime a new feature is added that might push you over 100 megabytes, you can make the test fail. There's so many things that you can do. And I personally have had a really good experience with Circle CI, but with any continuous integration platform. You can do so many things to make your life easier, to avoid having bugs in production. So I urge you to try it out. You see how simple it was. And from now on, any projects that you're on, try continuous integration, implementing it from the beginning. It's a bit of configuration at first, but once you have it running, working in teams just becomes so much easier. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.